Additional confirmation coming out in the past 24 hours from the former FBI director, confirming what we've heard from the FBI.
Multiple foreign terrorist organizations have called for attacks against Americans and the West.
And from Congress.
Our country is really at an increased threat for a terrorist attack.
That they believe that over the past couple of years that terrorist groups have already made their way into the United States and that in cities around the nation, and I had that list for you yesterday.
According to intelligence, they have cells in Boston, Maryland, New York, Laurel, Maryland, Potomac, Maryland.
They believe there are units, sleeper cells, set up, ready to all attack at once in a coordinated effort, major cities around the nation.
The sleeper cells right now in America, but this administration hasn't done nothing. What about the Iranians we're catching coming across our border down in Texas in just the last few days?
Also additional information coming out on the sleeper cell units, and they're saying this is not a tactical play. This is strategic. They've been here for years. They're letting others in, and now they're said they're to the point where they are ready to lay out a coordinated strategic attack on the United States, and they believe that we are at the doorstep of that attack. We have additional confirmation coming out on all this. I'm going to be sharing with you the video footage here that they're saying that an attack on U.S. soil is very likely. And we heard from the FBI that this might not just be physical attacks, but in addition to that, cyber attacks on infrastructure. They're saying to watch our water, our electrical grids, our airports, as they're saying they're going to try to knock out U.S. systems. Now, how many are here and how big is the list of cities? Well, it's actually shocking how many there are. And this comes as yesterday, Saturday, we saw in Washington, D.C. at the White House, tens of thousands of people from all over the nation gathering to protest the war in Gaza and call for the annihilation of Israel.
Israel can go to hell!
Additional warnings coming out at religious gatherings. Christians and Jews could be the main target of potential attacks. Now I'm going to be sharing with you the latest video footage so that way you can see it for yourself. And I know that this is not what anybody wants to hear, that there are potential attacks coming on U.S. soil and that we could be entering into, they said, World War III. However, I do believe that knowledge is power, and we need to know what's going on, so that way we can prepare ourselves and our families. And if you feel the same way and you appreciate these updates, do me a quick favor, smash the like button, share this out with anybody else that you think it could help. And if you want to stay up to date on everything that's going on, it's totally free. Why not? I'll keep you up to speed. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the video footage so that way you can see exactly what's been going on, with additional confirmation coming out in just the past 24 hours of everything they're saying that could be unfolding here very soon. Let's go ahead and take a look.
The FBI Director Wray nor the President have any idea whether or not there is somebody from Hamas roaming around the United States of America who could strike this kind of deadly attack on our own country.
All right, you notice a pattern here. More and more governors, and in fact, the governors of Oklahoma and Texas who were visiting Israel to warn us what's going on over there, and the threat of terror over there is, in fact, likely to happen over here. Christopher Wray, the FBI director, saying as much just a few days earlier. Chris Wecker is the former FBI assistant director. Chris, good to have you. Are they right? Is it just a matter of time before we're dealing with what Israel's dealing with here?
Absolutely, Neil. I mean, this is the greatest terrorist threat to this country since the pre-9/11 run-up. And I think it's even more pronounced now because we have these conflicts, these cells in the United States. I mean, when I say cells, I mean Hezbollah and Hamas, but mostly Hezbollah have been around for a long, long time, raising money, committing crimes and raising money for Hezbollah. Those cells could quickly morph into violent cells. And with the southern border being as open as it is, we have no idea who's in this country. So it's a combination of what's going on in the Middle East, as well as that wide open southern border. We got to have a couple hundred FBI agents on that border trying to determine who's coming in. We have completely negated all the security steps that we took after 9/11 to keep terrorists out of this country.
So the fear is they're already here.
Clearly. I mean, but then there's also the greater threat, I think, of organized terrorist activity in the U.S. Yes, these cells were already here, but there's even more flowing across our border every day without question. And we don't know where they are or who they are. If you're a terrorist, you're going to sneak across that southern border. You don't need to take a plane or use any other means to get into this country. And they can come in groups and cells. There are no boundaries for these people, and they are dedicated to destroying the Western civilization as we know it. So they're in it for the long haul, and you can't. I guess the point being, Neil, you can't trust them. No matter what they say, you cannot trust them.
To all of you who are wondering why we should care about Hamas and what's happening in the Middle East, you should care because Hamas has a large network of cells spreading all across America. According to intelligence, they have cells in Boston, Maryland, New York, Laurel, Maryland, Potomac, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Henderson, Virginia, Springfield, Virginia, Raleigh, North Carolina, Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Ohio, Charlotte, North Carolina, Orlando and Tampa, Florida, Detroit, Michigan, Houston, Columbia, Missouri, Plainfield, Illinois, Kansas City, Chicago, Denver, Oklahoma City, Arlington, Texas, and Dallas, Texas, Tucson, Arizona, Seattle, Washington, San Francisco, Santa Clara, Los Angeles, and San Diego in California. Wake up, America. That's why we need to stand with Israel.
Now let's take a look at the sleeper cells and the information we have on them. Unit 910 ESO, or the Hezbollah's External Security Organization. Hezbollah's elite and strictly compartmented unit functions as a far-reaching strategic arm of Hezbollah and Iran. Its purpose is to serve as a deterrent against the West, or the United States, and against Israel in particular. The unit is composed of a specialized unit operating jointly, both from administrative and operative aspects, and is strictly compartmented from other units within the organization. The unit is composed of a small group of operatives, mainly Lebanese Shiites, whose families were not born in Lebanon, some of which even hold authentic foreign identity documents, allowing them to travel across the world under false identities and tourist or business cover-up stories. Their frequent travels abroad are explained away to their family members, neighbors, and friends as regular business trips, whereas they are in fact members of units mounting various terror activities throughout the world. As opposed to other religious Lebanese Shiites, the operatives who travel abroad shave their heads, do not visit mosques, and consort with local women in the areas where they carry out their missions. The operatives of the units undergo a long and complex process of security training until they are formally authorized as operatives, including field security, working undercover, sabotage techniques, as well as camouflage techniques in case they are required to escape from any given country. In order to facilitate its activities worldwide, the unit establishes ties with elements who support Hezbollah and are permanent residents abroad, and uses these elements for logistic and operational purposes. The majority of these local facilitators come from Lebanese families that immigrated from Lebanon years ago, while others are native who have converted to Islam or Shia Islam and are eager to contribute to the struggle while accepting the risks involved with providing support to terrorist organizations. Hezbollah makes cynical and manipulative use of the elements who provide them with support. As a result of this, the majority of Hezbollah's failures to carry out terrorist attacks have ended in such a way that while the operatives were warned ahead of the time and exfiltrated, the network of facilitators paid the price by serving long prison sentences. The operational capacities exhibited by the unit are indicative of the callous disregard for the consequences of the terror activity that it mounts, and therefore throughout the years it has used enormous quantities of explosives, which, regardless of the chosen target, have hurt or would have hurt, had they been successful, many innocent people. The unit's activities is characterized by a long-term perspective, striving to achieve significant achievements as opposed to fast and limited achievements. So there you have it. Now, we have heard that if official war is declared by the United States, that the reserves that we currently have are actually 1/10 of what we had 50 years ago the last time a draft was needed. And they're saying even though Congress and the U.S. military is saying a draft will not happen, it's not needed, when you take a look at the numbers, many are saying it's telling a different story. Now, in addition to that, we're getting more information every day about a potential attack, terrorist attacks here on U.S. soil. And as more comes out on that, I'll be sure to share. But to get the latest, if you missed the lives and the videos, check out these ones right here next, and I'll keep you up to date.